Hello there, welcome back to the channel. Sol here, and today I'm bringing you a different video of what I usually bring you. I'm not bringing you a actual gameplay of an event. I just want to talk about defense. I've seen on the forums and on Reddit a lot of people asking, how do I set up my base to defend against X or Y? And based on my experience, it's very hard to set up a base to defend against a particular thing. Mainly because if you set a base, for example, to defend against tank medics, then your base is going to be very, very weak against riflemen, Ansuka, medic attacks, or it's going to be very weak against grenadiers, right? So it's very hard to set up a defense that it's able to counter one thing and then be good against other things, right? Now, the other important point is that in a defense, right, a very determined player, it's going to be able to raid you no matter what. If he wants your stuff, if he wants your resources, and if he needs them, he's going to raid you. If he cannot do it the first time, he's going to come back the second time, boost it, and he's going to do it, right? So you have to establish priorities. My priorities in my gameplay is to be offensive. I want my offense to be top notch. That's why I focus on my offense early on the game. And then once I was done with all that, then I started upgrading my defenses. Now, my goal is to try to get as much intel and diamonds from every single attack that I receive on my base as I can, right? And I started only maybe getting diamonds 10% of the time, to then 20% of the time, to 30% of the time. And now I'm upwards of 90% of the time I'm getting intel from this layout, right? And I just wish to share it with you so that you just get an idea of what is my mindset and how well it performs. This layout, I've shared it with a bunch of my guys of my task force. And I mean, it's not only me, it works at any particular level. It gets you intel. It doesn't matter what you do, it will get you intel. Just to show you, I mean, I attack constantly, right? But if you look at my the stats, for example, the average weekly in terms of intel, I'm on the top 5, top 2 or top 3 on the intel collector on my task force, and that is, I mean, there's a big portion of that which is intel that I get from attacking, but a huge portion now it's becoming from actual defenses. With this task force, I have upwards of 6,800 intel collector, right? So let me show you the first thing, right? My base layout is to look as inviting as possible for people to make mistakes. The first thing you'll notice is that you, on a first glimpse, you will not gonna see a single mine on my map or on my island. You have to look hard, and that is the first thing. Use your mines as a booby trap. It doesn't matter at what level you are, use them, hide them, because if they're hidden, the guys have to look hard, and if they're more prone to make mistakes. As you can see, I mean, my layout is full of mines, right? The first thing is the mines are there to counter riflemen and sukas and warriors to some degrees, right? Now, you would see, I have mines hidden in different locations where I expect the enemy to come in. The other important point is cluster your mines. Don't have your mines one by one, because if the guys have medics, one single mine can be countered by a medic. Now, if you cluster your mines in groups of 3, it doesn't matter how many medics he has. Whatever riflemen come in, they are gonna instantly get burned, right? If he has sukas, they're gonna instantly get burned too, right? With only 2 of them. So that's the first important thing. Make sure that you put your mines in locations where you expect the enemy to come through. I expect enemies, when they see this layout, right? They have 2 options. They can approach from the left, sorry, or they can approach from the right, try to smoke all the way back, and then get all those, quote unquote, free resources building. Or they can actually try to come from the middle. Whichever direction they come, if they come with sukas and riflemen, if they come with heavies and riflemen, or heavies and sukas, they are going to find all my mines in the front. Let me just save my layout so I can just show you. Left corner base. Here we go. Let me save it because I made some changes. Right? So here, you're going to see right? So all those are there for a particular reason, right? They're gonna find those mines early on. Now, if they're smart and they scout it, they're gonna find the mines and they're gonna try to counter it with critters or with artillery. They're wasting GBE. That is GBE that they're not gonna be able to use later on the match. Now, the second important point is make sure that your booby traps, wherever you place them, are in range of something that is able to counter. So, for example, my chalk mines, you would see that my chalk mines are hidden in locations in very specific. Where's my other? Yeah. So you see, all those chalk mines right there are within range of my hotpot. That is there to counter riflemen. Not riflemen, to counter smoky Suka attacks, to counter primarily warriors, right? So let me just put this thing back. Now, the other thing is make sure that you put your defenses in locations, like group them in clusters so that you minimize the collateral damage of shocks. For example, let's say that a guy comes in with a warrior attack to my base. I expect him to get casualties unless he's very smart or very boosted, that he can avoid all my boom mines. If he comes around this corner, he's gonna have to deal with these two boom mines. He's gonna have to deal with this mines right here. He's gonna have to deal with the mines behind here, the shock mine. There is a boom mine right here, and I think there's another boom mine somewhere around here. Yeah, that's the other boom mine. So he has to deal with all that stuff, and that is some stuff that he cannot take with a single artillery shot. He can maybe take a couple of them with a barrage, but that's about it. Now, when he gets into here, he has the decision to make. He can shock his own troops and shock the shock launcher, but then he has to waste a shock around, to try to clear those guys there, because otherwise he's gonna get some casualties. He has to shock the hot pot. He has to shock the shock launcher, and with 4 shocks, which is the average of a guy that's normally boosted in, he's not gonna be able to shock everything, right? So he's gonna miss either the mortars or some of the rocket launchers or some of the sniper towers or some of the cannons, and I will get guaranteed kills. Remember, 10 kills gets you intels and diamond. That's it. That's all I care. Once I get 10 kills of you, you can come in, take whatever you want. Just leave me some diamonds and some intel, right? So, you may say, well, that's all fine and dandy. You have a damage amplifier, you have a hot pot. Yeah, but this layout that I'm showing you here works with a shock blaster, it works with a laser, it works with whatever thing you have, even a shield generator, whatever you have. This layout has proven me and my task force to yield them intelligence and diamonds on almost every single attack. And I'm just going to show you, I'm not bluffing here. Let me just go to my log. I'm going to show you my activity log for the last time, right? I'm not going to be able to show you all my replays, but this log extends back to 2 days ago, right? So let's go through it and just really quickly see if I counted, and I counted 11 out of 12 attacks yielded intel, right? And a variety of attacks. So this guy was a tank medic attack. He yielded me, I got 3 kills and 7 medics. That was intel. So that's 1. I killed 37 of his warriors. That's 2 out of 2. That's 3 out of 3. A defense. That's 3 out of 3? Yeah, 3 out of 3, 4 out of 4, 5 out of 5, 6 out of 6, 7 out of 7. This guy didn't leave me diamond, so unfortunately I cannot see that, but that's gonna be 7 out of 8, 8 out of 9, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 11, 11 out of 12, and then 12 out of 13? Did I count it right? Oh my God. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Exactly. So 12 out of 13 attacks yield me intel. So that's 92% of the time for the last 2 days, I have gotten intel. And I'm just going to share with you some of the replays so you can just see, what's end up happening, the choices that people make that sometimes are not the best. And I mean, you can decide for yourself if this kind of layout it's good for you. So here you see this guy is deciding, well, I'm just going to go ahead and take out the shock launcher. He's thinking about the end game. He's going to take on the shock launcher. He's going to take out the boom cannon. And then I think he's going to just decide to land. Now, he is making, in my opinion, he's making a huge mistake. In a base like this, when you have amped up rocket launchers, you have to take care of the rocket launchers, right? So now look at this guy. He decided, I'm not going to worry about the left side. I'm going to go the right side. And here's the other important point. Don't give free energy. Don't park all your non-defensive buildings on places that don't matter. Don't give them that energy to them, right? Intermix your defenses with your economy building. That's going to give you the highest bang for your buck, because while the tanks have to go, or the enemy has to go and kill those defenses or those structures to get GBE, the other units can do damage to them. So here you see the first thing, right? First thing is he flared to the right, trying to be sneaky, saying, oh yeah, I can go ahead and come here. Now, in the process, he's wasting energy smoking his troop. He's wasting energy flaring. His riflemen, his medics are going to stay behind, because that's the way it goes. And then you have 3 amped up rocket launchers shooting at your medics. And they, my experience, people that go on this route either fail terribly or get wrecked. And this guy got wrecked. I mean, he lost 7 medics and 3 tanks. And in my book, that is a definitely win. So there we go. He sees the mine, so he's trying to counter those mines. I mean, buddy, critters with a boosted up rocket launcher and shock launcher is not going to work. There you go. He's smoking again. He's wasting energy. He's clumping up his troops, which with a shock launcher is terrible, especially with tanks. There we go. I don't know how much energy this guy had, but now he's engaging my troops full on. He gained a few GBE, but this is where it gets good, because now he used most of his GBE. Now I have sniper towers amped up, which you'll be surprised how much damage they can put in. And there we go. Medics on the back, closest to a rocket launcher, and they're shocked. And one more, and they're gonna die. Come on, guys, just kill them. And that's it. That's simple as that. I just got my intel and got my diamonds. He may take my base, but he lost a bunch of riflemen, and that to me, it's what matters. Now you see, my base is designed to think that that's the best way to go. But while you're smoking up on that corner, you're gonna get wrecked by my cannons. You're gonna get wrecked by the rocket launcher and the shock launcher if you are not careful. Okay. So let's take a look at this other warrior attack. He lost 37 warriors on this attack. So now this guy, it's smart. Well, I'm going to take out the shock launcher. So that's 10 GB that he's wasting, or using. Not wasting, just using. All right, so he's taking the flamethrower. That's going to limit the amount of shocks that he's going to have to deploy, because then he doesn't have to worry about the 2 flamethrowers. Now I made a change. You see that flamethrower that's on the back, I replaced it with a cannon, so that people have to think even more about where to put their place their GBE. So now here we go. He didn't take care of the boom mine, so there he lost 1, he lost 2. Now you remember, there's a booby trap right there. If you weren't careful, and he wasn't, so half of the health of those warriors are gone. Now there's more booby traps here, so now watch out. Shocked, and burn. All right, I don't know how many troops he has lost so far. I don't think it adds up to 37 right now. So look at the decision. So he placed 3 shocks. He shocked here, he shocked there, and he shocked there. Guess what's still alive? 2 amped up rocket launchers, cannon, sniper tower, flamethrower, machine gun, and mortar. And that's going to be enough to net me all the kills that I got. on this map. Yes, he took my base. I don't care. I just care about the diamonds. So that right there was 37 warriors killed. A nice amount of diamonds and a nice amount of intel, or just one intel, I guess. Let's take a look at this guy. So we've seen tank medic attacks. We've seen warrior attacks. Now we're gonna see a tank grenadier attack. I don't think, if I remember correctly, this way wasn't very, very smart on the way he attacked. So I think he left his grenadiers die early, but I'm not 100% sure. Now, so this guy is countering what can counter his troops, which are boom cannons. He's countering the boom cannons, essentially. He's trying to get rid of them. And he's going to make the fatal mistake that most people make, thinking that the shortest approach is the best. Now, he left the shock launchers alive. And if he decides to go on this corner, which is what I think he ended up doing, that's going to end up spelling disaster for him, because that's two max level shock launchers that are going to keep their troops in stasis if he's not careful. Now, the Grenadiers are good because they're going to clear most of the mines in front of them, but that didn't end up helping him at all. Now you can see those rocket launchers are no joke. I mean, right now that's about 30% gone on the health of those tanks. And the problem is if that's the medics, stay behind, then they're gonna get wrecked. And then once I kill a couple of your medics, then I'm sure to kill a couple of your tanks. So there you go. He's still wasting energy, healing the troops. And you got 3 rocket launchers. The hotbar comes online, and this is where I guess most of my I'm so sorry. This is where I get most of my intel. It's when people just ignore the hotbar for far too long, and the hotbar can just burn whatever he wants to burn, right? So he just burned 1 tank, and then I just killed 2 tanks right now. Shock launcher is keeping everything nice and on stasis, allowing time for my 3 amped up rocket launchers to just put the pain on this guy. And yes, he's gonna end up killing my base, but not before I kill all of his grenadiers. All of his grenadiers. I think all but one of his medics. No, actually, I kill all of his medics, and then he only had 4 tanks left, or 5 tanks left. I don't know how many. So yeah, all of his grenadiers, all of his medics, and I killed 3 out of his 8 tanks. So we saw already that one. We saw that one. Now this guy came in with 13 tanks and 15 medics, and he still got right. He had to retreat. This is one of those rare moments where I defend. I think he came up 2 tanks short of being full. And he's, again, countering what can counter his troops. So he's countering the cannons in the front. But you will see that he's not taking care of them early because he runs out of energy. He has to collect energy. He has to face my defenses to collect energy in order to destroy what can destroy him. And in the process, my units are putting their hurt on him. So you will see this is the same sort of mistake, most people make. They think that's the corner that they need to be. Well, that's in range of all my defenses, long range defenses, the shock launcher. Then he makes a mistake. I need to target that shock launcher. He ignores the hotbar, he shocks it, but then the hotbar comes online and decides to burn everything else. He's out of energy. Oh, he managed to muster some energy to essentially shock it. I think at this point, my hotbar dies. No, he decides to retreat because he knows he cannot do anything against it. All right, so that was that defense. Let's see how far back we can go. This guy, Grenadiers are one of the biggest weak points on any sort of layout, because if you build a strong base against Grenadiers, it's going to be weak against everything else. And Grenadiers are not used a lot, so if I can get a few intel out of a Grenadier attack, I'm happy, and this is one of those chances. I'm going to speed this up. I think he lost 2 of his Grenadiers essentially to mines, but let's double check that. Now, so I don't think it was 2 mines. Let's see. Let's put it in normal speed. I don't know if he already took care of the mine. No, the mine is still back there. So he's gonna lose at least one of them. Oh no, the mine was already destroyed. Oh, that would go. So the boom cannon killed one. So he lost one to the boom cannon, and I think the rest of the stuff is gonna be due to sniper boom cannon fire. That's what's gonna end up killing his troops. Yeah, I think this is gonna be a boring one. You know, we know we got it. I don't know exactly when I got the kills, but we know we got 3 of them. So it must have been early on the game when he was approaching right here. Maybe the cannon that was on that corner got the other ones. But that's, you know, so we've seen warriors, we've seen warrior attacks, we've seen tank attacks, we've seen tank grenadiers attack. So, and that's about it. I think that's all. That's as far as I can show you in terms of my defenses. But again, I mean, this layout works pretty well. I mean, feel free to copy it. I guess I'll pause here, move a building out of the way. Move a building out of the way so you can sort of see what's going on, and then copy it. Remember, the trick is booby traps. I have booby traps on my map. Essentially, that most of the booby traps are concentrated on the front line. Like I said, you know, there are mines back here. There are mines back here. There are also mines here. So anywhere they decide to smoke in, they have to waste energy. And that is the key, you know. So if you can get out of watching this video with a couple of ideas, is make sure that you make them waste energy. Make sure that you make them face your defenses to get energy. And make sure you cluster up your mines in groups of 3 so they're more effective in killing those riflemen that come in contact with them when they're doing medic attack, rifleman medic attack, or rifleman cryoneer and medic attacks. Make sure that you spread out your defenses in a way that if they do a warrior attack, they have to decide, they have to make tough choices on what to shock. You know, not a single shock can take out all the rocket launchers and shock launchers and mortars at the same time, or the flamethrowers. You know, so that's the other important thing. Now, try to make it so that it's easier on one direction, but when they actually go in that direction, they're facing most of the brunt of your defenses. In my case, you saw there are 2 ways that look easy. It's coming on this corner and coming on that corner. However, either way they go, if they don't target the right defenses, they're going to get wrecked. Well, that is about it, what I have for you guys today. I hope this video was helpful. I know when I was designing my base, you know, I took a lot of care of going on this sort of design. And a video when I was starting like this would have been, you know, very helpful. A lot of people show you layouts and they tell you that they're good. However, you know, maybe they don't talk about, you know, the nitty-gritty details of what's important and why it's important to have it that way. And most importantly, they may share a layout, but they don't tell you, you know, how effective it is. Here you saw that although I don't defend because I don't really care about defending, I care about the diamonds and intel. My base is very effective. 92% of the time for the last 2 days, it's been able, or, you know, 12 out of 13 times, it's been able to gather intel and diamonds for me. And that is awesome because it helps you finish troops or helps you finish defenses or whatever you're doing with your diamonds. In any case, guys, hope this was helpful. Leave a comment on the video if it was. And yeah, so let's check it out.